So I'll show you a trick to test if your wire is hot or not. So it's an electric fence, or hot wire some people call it. And you're going to pick up a blade of grass, or in this case I have a dandelion leaf, and then this is my electric fence. I'm going to use one hand and I'm going to touch the ground. You can't see me all the way. Teeth. So I'm going to touch the ground because sometimes your shoes will actually insulate it enough to not get a zap. So I'm going to touch the ground to complete the circuit. And I'm going to touch it at the tip at first and slowly make it shorter to my hand. Right there I felt a tiny little jolt. It does not hurt. It's just like a little tickle right there. As you get closer, it's going to zap you. Again, still doesn't hurt, but that's where I can feel that zap. So I know that my wire is on, it's functioning, it's working. That is the downfall when it comes to hot wire with some animals, is that they will know when it's on or off. They're very, very sensitive to like sensing the electrical currents. Duke and Jezzy, so it's Duke and Grace in here right now, but Duke and Jezzy were not trained to the hot wire. They touched it one time each and they knew to stay away from it, to the point now where they'll come close to it but they won't even want to touch it because they touch it once with their nose and that is enough for them. Some horses can be trickier, but in this case these guys are pretty respectful. It's not real tall, it's coming up to about my hip, and I'm a short person, so some horses may do better with a taller strand or even 2 or 3 strands, but in our case so far we have found that 1 strand is perfect. And they're gonna walk around and munch all this grass. I'm gonna bring them a pail of water in case they get thirsty, and then just keep an eye on them. I'm not going anywhere until later this evening, and at that point Stan can take over watching them, but this way they get to munch all of this yummy grass for us and we don't have to mow it. And the trade-off is that I have to spend a long time picking up manure, but they're gonna enjoy this and we're not gonna have to feed them hay right now, so that works out for me. Stan and I did have the discussion, you know, should we permanent fence more of our property? Should we run horse fence further up here? Because we don't really do anything with the yard over here other than mow it. It's too close to the highway to really play with the kids. This was not landscaped properly, so it's very bumpy and kind of just hilly. And so it's not the most ideal lawn for, say, like yard games or, say, bocce or, you know, different things like that. Even playing soccer, it's pretty rough. We have some different yard space that we would rather use than this. So we did talk about permanent fencing this. And then as we looked at our official property lines, it would make for a really, really awkward looking fence, and I'm going to show you why. Yes, we got P-fence up, so this is just hard wire with our electrical stakes. Stan did a good job with that. And hopefully we get peas that grow. Everything else is in, but it's going to take a bit more time before we see anything sprouting, I think. So yes, we live right on a highway. It's not very quiet. Often in my videos you can hear the traffic going by. So the funny story with our property is that we kind of have borrowed some space here. So we borrowed some space, but it's not actually ours. So officially there is what we call a road allowance, I believe, straight through there. And it comes right across our yard over there. So I'm actually technically not even on our property right now. It comes about here and then goes whee, and then it goes over to there, that kind of opening in the trees. So this would make for a really, really awkward fence because it would be diagonal and it would not be even. So we'd be cutting like a diagonal fence and it would not be in line with the road. And if you're talking about curb appeal, it's nice to have like a straight shot white picket fence type of idea, rather than like a crooked barbed wire fence that's not actually in line with anything, because our lot actually runs kind of crooked back this way. So anyways, a permanent fence up here is not a great idea. If we were to do a permanent fence, we would have to preferably end it right off that shed, and we would kind of bring that edge of the pasture up. So there is some fence posts here. It's a very overgrown fence, and we would just have to tack up the wires or put in some new barbed wire, and then pound some posts along this way, and then meet it up to the back where there is a horse fence line up there. Everybody on the highway is probably like, what is this weird person doing? Anyways, doesn't matter. We've also talked about actually just fencing that for the goats, and then you could put goats in there, or you could put horses in there. It kind of would be dual purpose that way, versus if you just fence it for horses, I can't use it for the goats. Versus if we fence it for the goats, put a strand of barbed wire on the top, then you can use it for goats or horses, just as long as you're mindful of horses getting their feet stuck in page wire. That can sometimes be the risk with that, but there's risk with anything. Horses will always find a way to injure themselves. They always will try to find ways to kill themselves, and that's just life with animals. And so you have to be prepared for that and do what you can to minimize the risk, but at the same time acknowledge that sometimes animals will hurt themselves even if they're wrapped in bubble wrap. So that's just the way it goes. So there's lots of conversations. I'm not sure if anything permanent is going to go in this year, but things are feeling squishy on the goat end of things, and so I would like to expand at some point. We're just not 100% sure how and when we're going to do so. For now, these guys are going to munch all that down, and then I could probably even do the rest of this front portion, or likely I probably will just come with the mower, just because there's not a ton of grass. It's pretty sparse. Mostly we just like to call it our dandelion field, because that's literally what it looks like right now. All the yellow flowers are weeds, and so we got to be mindful of keeping them mowed down as much as we can. But you mow them down, the next day more come up, so that is the struggle with dandelions. But on the bright side, the horses really love to eat them. They're happy. The goats are all in here munching down the leaves. Miss Rose. This is what we mean by browsers, when they reach. Except for these guys who are not browsing. Hey, psst, get out of there. You guys can go find something else to eat rather than hay. That's why I covered it with a tarp. Really wanted to see if she would. Look at that. First time over a tarp. Good job. So proud of this little mare. She's doing pretty good. She's the jumper. Anybody's gonna make me nervous about jumping a fence, it would be Jezzy. I have seen her clear 4-foot fences before. But she's seeing it. It's pretty reflective in the sunshine. So she knows where it's at. Up, up, up. Look at this little fluffy ponytail we got going on. What's happening here? You are crazy. They're so funny. They're hungry, but instead of like just kind of committing to a spot, they just run back and forth. Like little hooligans that they are. Take a few nibbles, and then they go run off to another place. So crazy. This morning I was in town. I had to grab some various things. Ended up getting some new clothes for the kiddos. There's a fantastic sale, so I was very excited about that. And then passport pictures for our kids because we're flying international later on this year, and I'm pretty excited about it. Good morning, welcome back. It is May 29th, it's a Thursday, and I'm just headed out to do some morning chores. I will say, despite the fact that a lot of unpredictable and even frustrating things that have happened this spring with the dairy goats and just, I don't know, I feel like life events in general, it's just kind of rough. I am enjoying this easy pace of farm life where there's just, you know, get up when you get up and get out and do chores when you get out, and it's not so big of a, like, okay, I gotta milk every 12 hours and I've gotta be up, and I gotta milk, otherwise the does are gonna be cranky and uncomfortable. And same with bottle feeding kids. I have, woo, this wind is sure crazy. It's just been so much more chill and manageable. They're like, says you, lady. We're sitting here ready for breakfast. You're just fine. You're just picky. we swapped around this whole pen. So now he's got a bigger space. We'll just feed him in here so that the horses can't push this fence over because they're starting to break the panels, trying to get to the hay. Isn't that right? Oh boy. Good boy. I'm not putting the horses out in the hot wire today just because we aren't going to be home, and so I'm going to grab them a couple more forkfuls of hay just to keep their tummies happy. And you might be wondering, you're kind of burying the lead here. Where's the other horses? We're missing a few. So I didn't video it yesterday, but I drove to my parents' place with Jezzy, Jitterbug, and Ladybug and kicked them out to grass. I didn't have room or time. I would have had to do 2 loads. I didn't have room to put them all in the same trailer, the same load, and I just didn't have the time to make 2 trips. And so they're here, probably for the weekend, and then we'll kick them out probably Monday, just because Stan is going to be gone all weekend for a men's fishing trip with our church, and he has the horse trailer to haul all of the stuff for all of the guys for all weekend. That includes all the food and a whole bunch of different supplies, quads and kayaks, and yeah, crazy business. So he'll be gone all weekend. We're gonna drop him off today, and then it'll just me and the kids and the farm. We are probably gonna get rain today. I'm seeing the undersides of the leaves, which is like an old wives' tale of it's gonna rain. Kind of just patchy clouds, nothing too crazy, but the wind is sure gusting. Whee! Woo, we got airplane ears. That wind just picked your ears right up. So we have got all the babies in here now. I moved them out of their temporary pen. Just put them in with the does. And boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, just feels like there's a lot of babies. And a lot of goats in here. We've got our 4 does. Daisy's on the other side. And then 4 wethers. No, 1, 2. How many do we got? My 4 good ones, plus a doeling of mine, plus 2 bucks, plus 3 wethers. I don't even know. I lost track. There's 11 babies in here though. And they're doing all right. Rose is almost completely dry. She's a little bit full. I could empty her out and she'd probably be empty now. I might do that tonight or something. And then we'll be completely dry. I mean, I haven't milked her in like a week. And she's not crazy full. Hey, everybody. Hi. We've got some blow-away tarps happening. It's not good. All of our stuff. Oh no, these were my seeds. No, guys. I put them outside. No. No, look. All of my seeds. Oh no. Oh. Well, that's lame. Shoot. I'll try to salvage what I can, but then they'll be all mixed up. I had like them labeled in different kinds. Shucks. Oh well. Ah! Don't steal my plants. bought flies, and I thought the flies were what was bugging the horses. I started walking, and Duke just came apart. I've got 2 dogs that snuck up behind us, completely silent. He's still stalking us. Like, it looks like it's a wolf dog. It's not as big as a wolf, but he's still watching. Like, that is predator behavior right there. Still watching from the top of this hill. I've never had that happen before. Good thing I've got a good horse under me, because I'm literally shaking like a leaf right now.